Hey YouTube, welcome to Tele Tuesday, which is a new thing I decided last night I was going to do. Technically it's Monday, but somewhere in the world it's Tuesday. That gives me sort of like a sort of 48-hour window to do these. Depending on if I get any further or not, I don't know. I've got quite a few tellies. I don't actually know how many, but I should be okay for a few weeks. So this you may have seen in my video from last Friday when I decided I was going to do all my bases in one video and failed because I had too many, so I did sort of part one. Part two might be coming this week if I can be bothered. So this is a Malko, like one of those mad egomaniacs puts their own name on the headstock of a guitar. So this is a Fender 6 sort of telebass. So it's the bottom four strings are a bass, so it's the same. But it's got an extra two strings, so it's possible to play, and just set up in standard tuning, but an octave down from a guitar. This was made by me, and this is in the kitchen worktop days. As you know, I made this one at a kitchen worktop. This is also this might have been before it. This is also kitchen worktop, so it's made of butcher's block. You can see this this one here is pretty obvious, running lengthways. Yeah, so sorry things are a wee bit noisy. I've got it plugged into the bass amp and the guitar amp with an AB switch, and I need to maybe have a look at the AB switch. There might be more to it, but it seems to whatever amp it's not plugged into buzzes a bit. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it. Yeah, so I drew around a Telecaster. I've got a tele bridge on there, which I didn't have to do much to. I think all I had to do was enlarge the holes a little bit to take the thicker strings. This is before I knew they were called ferrules for the back. I do have a set in there which I might do, but I quite like the just a wee bit of metal that holds the guitars on. I've obviously made an arse of this. It's got this so I've got an extra few bolts holding it on. This was, as I said, done a while ago, maybe coming up for 9 or 10 years ago or something like that. This pickup here from memory is an Ibanez. The reason I wanted to use this one is because it doesn't have, if you look at a normal pickup, there's one here I use as a magnet for picking up shit. It's burst. So usually a pickup's got this. It's not complete. It's got this extra sort of tab on it. Well, I like this one because it's symmetrical on both sides. It's a straight line, so it looks better if I'm going to reset it. I don't know how I cut that out. Probably with a Dremel. It probably took ages, but I've actually done it quite well. Yeah, the neck is from a Stag bass. And I did another one of these. I had no idea what I did with it though. I definitely did something. I definitely did another 6-string bass of some sort. I wonder if I gave it to somebody or I did it for somebody else. Can't remember. Anyway, so it's a 4-string bass, but it's got a really wide nut on it. This particular model of Stag bass that I cut up, it was a horrible sort of an ugly shaped thing that I bought purely for donation purposes. In fact, actually thinking about it, I actually bought it just up the road when I was in Mother House, which is 2-3 miles that direction. I actually bought this about a mile in that direction, so it's actually closer to where it came from. In fact, less than that. It was not in the county, so it was literally in a straight line 500 yards away. I bought this bass from a girl who had it in a barn. Yeah, so it was a 4-string. I blocked off the holes, the 4 tuner pegs holes with drumsticks, glued them in, filed it, and then I made it symmetrical, which ended up looking like my pal Michael called that coffin headstock. So it's a sort of roughly coffin shape just to make it symmetrical. And then put 6 tuners on it. This has got Martin tuners, which I don't know where I got them from, but they feel really expensive. So that's obviously a good thing. I think my thinking was at the time, if I'm going to put bass strings onto guitar tuners, they should be expensive tuners. I'm not sure that necessarily really is that true. I don't think you really need specifically really good tuners for a bass, but I've done it anyway. So we've got 24 frets. The positioning of this pickup, if you look at, well, I didn't have this at the time, but the Bronco bass here, where the main pickup is the same as where it is on my Fender Music Master. So I put this pick up exactly where it is on the Music Master, thinking there must have been a reason that Fender put it there, something to do with nodes and where the best bit in the string is to pick up the string. So that's why that's there. The tele bridge, it was just it was part of the thing. It was part of the bridge, so I didn't really have much choice of where that goes. Obviously, you've got to make this 30 inches. It's a 30-inch scale bass. Yes. So on to I don't like I find it annoying having the input jack. Oh, it's that I keep standing on. Right. Keep standing on the pedal. Right, so I don't like the input jack here, so I've got it on the top, which is better. See when you're sitting down on the settee, it means it doesn't hit off things. I like it going in the front. So what I had was yesterday, this had just a volume control and a 5-way lever. And the 5-way lever, I've been pretty clever with it. I'm not really sure exactly how I did it, but I've managed to get it so that basically if you're in the middle position, you get this pickup. So that would be position 3. Position 4 is this pickup and this pickup. Played through the bass amp just now. And then position 5 is the bridge pickup on its own. So if you go the other way, position 2 is this pickup with a tone cap on it on full. And then position 1 is these two wired as one big humbucker, as a humbucker. So it's like it's in series mode. Playing with a pick there because the strings are quite close together, but it's totally possible to play it with fingers. And last night when I was jamming away on it, I decided that having these, so that was without a tone control last night, and then last night I decided I would just put a tone control in because I can always have it up full, I don't lose anything, but now I can use it, go back to the pick, takes away some of the twang. Actually, one of the things I was actually going to ask online if anyone knew what happens if you've got 2 tone controls, because if you're in the neck position 2, as I said, that's this pickup with a tone cap actually on the switch on full bung. So what happens if you turn the tone off as well? And I think it makes it a wee bit bassier, but not much. It's like, I think because they're both sort of acting in the same frequency, it doesn't really matter. So basically I've still got, so if you're listening to this is my tone control on full, but using this pickup with the tone on hard. Whereas if I go to on its own and then turn the tone off, it's not exactly the same sound as it is when it's got it hardwired, so it might be a different value of tone cap. I didn't even bother looking, I just used one off a guitar. So I just figured it was handier to have the tone control and then not use it rather than not have it and maybe want it. That's kind of more along the lines of thinking of this as a bass, which it is because it's a 6-string bass. But I think when I made this, I kind of was thinking more along the lines of a guitar sort of thing. Trumpet, this worked really well. I didn't realise how well it worked. I've not really even played this for a couple of years. When I dug it out for that bass video last week, the strings on it were absolutely manky and rusty, so I scraped them, I brassoed them, I boiled them, I wiped them and I put them back on again, and they seem to be all right. I'm not really that keen on buying stuff and getting the postman to come round if he doesn't have to because of the current situation, which I'm not mentioning again. So you can, then the whole idea of boiling strings and stuff, it does actually work. They're definitely, I don't know whether they're as good as they were as a new set. I doubt very much, but they're definitely a lot better than they were when I was trying to play it the other day, and it really was. I was scared to slide in case I got tetanus, in case it ripped off. It was like a serrated blade. Whereas now it seems to be, they're a wee bit manky looking, but they feel fine. As you can see, something to do with the tension and what type of strings these are. I actually am able to play real chords pretty easily. Obviously that's through a bass amp though. Yeah, so we'll stick on some drums. Careful with the fat E string, which can happen with all 30-inch scale basses. Just a small knob just to make it so it's not quite as a bit more room there. Some of the more guitar-y sounds such as bridge pickup. It's kind of hard to put a bass line on first when doing a jam. I'll just play chords now. Transfer onto the guitar amp, which is really much quieter as it on. So this is through using the first peg on the guitar. Play there as a backing track first. Turn that off. Oh no, this is buzzing pretty well, so I'm using the first pedal. I'm actually thinking this is an awful lot easier for me to play. A really noisy first pedal. This is an awful lot easier for me to play than that 8-string guitar I've got for doing like the baby metal stuff, because it just seems an awful lot more natural to me. So actually it's really easy to play, it's amazing. There's definitely a heavy metal application for this particular one. track on. I'm just gonna. You can obviously turn this off if you want. On a bass. Again, Black Sabbath. there we go. There's my Malko telebass 6. One of the things that I'm going to change is this strap, which is obviously a really crap one. There's plastic ends on it, which is obviously frayed at some point, so I've cut it and screwed it onto the body, but it hacks on my neck. Something rotten at the edge of this, so I'm going to put a new strap on it. But before I go, I'm going to weigh it because it's made out of a kitchen worktop, and I think it might be quite heavy, but maybe not excessively so. It kind of suits it for it's heavy, so these are Martin tuners, so they can take the weight, I'm pretty sure. And we've got 4.3, so 4.3 kilos, which isn't that bad. It's a little bit heavier than a tele. I'm thinking that a normal guitar tends to be. This strap's going a cord strap, and that one there, that end's there almost broken as well. So rather than risk this thing breaking, I'm just going to ditch it. So it's revitalised by taking the strings off, boiling them. Also, an issue I had before was it just shows you how little I knew. I thought the wiring was causing the volume never went all the way off before, like when I had it out yesterday, and I always thought it was something to do with this crazy wiring. That I seem to remember a bit hit and miss doing that 5-way thing out of 2 pickups. But now I just went, well, it's obviously the volume pot's burst, so I just swapped the volume pots over, and now it does turn all the way off. That's just experience that I know that from. And it is a bit more useful having the extra tone control. I can just ignore it, but it just takes a little bit away when you're sitting. Gives me more options. So I'm just thinking that's a little bit twanky, whereas when you've got it in the position 2, which is the one with it's a good solid bass. Not that that's not quite good as well with the humbucker. I would turn the tone down on that. So it's kind of making me wish I was in an originals band playing bass, so I could actually use this. I did use it in Jesse Ray before I built. That's what I used the other neck for. It's like I was saying, I built another one. I built another one in the shape of a claymore, which actually, the big sword Jesse plays with, because he plays with that big, the claymore like stuck into his mic stand or stuck into a big tree stump on the stage as part of his stage show. And I built a guitar shaped like a claymore, and then for a video we did for a laugh, it took like an hour to build. I think it was a couple of hours from deciding I was going to do it to actually having it. For a video, me and my pals in Project Ray were doing that night, and we used it for that video when the paint was still sticky. And Peg, the guitarist, was like, "I'll just play that live." And I was like, "Really?" I could have spent a little bit more time on it, but he just used that live for more effect. And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I built myself a 6-string bass version, and I used the same stag bass neck, and I think I did a Telecaster bridge on it as well. Did that have a neck pickup? I can't remember. Need to look it up. Actually, Jesse offered to buy it off me when I last year, so I just gave it to him. So it's in good hands. So I think I might. I'm enjoying this Telecaster thing. One of the things I haven't actually mentioned yet. This is a long video, but sort it. I wanted it to fit in a normal case, so it's maybe about an inch longer than a standard Telecaster, because it's got the sort of stubby head and the neck comes quite far into the body. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it looks that wrong, really. I think if you tried to put a scratch plate on it, to have one sitting there, it doesn't work, because you can see. In fact, is that one there? There. Unrehearsed moment. Oh, dusty. If you put a scratch plate on it, you can sort of see where the neck pickup should be on like the 20th fret, and there's a big gap here. So the scratch plate was never really an option for. Well, I'm saying that. If it was a bit less dusty, would it? A scratch plate maybe wouldn't look too bad. Did it? Yeah, it looks like it. it's likely that I did actually line that up in case I ever wanted to put a scratch plate on it. So maybe it does actually look better with a scratch plate. Maybe it does. I would get away with it as well because I could just obviously I'd have to cut round the neck. In fact, I can draw it on it quite easily without all that dust. So if I cut it off there and then cut out the neck pick up there, it might actually look pretty good with a scratch plate. That's something to think about. Does it look better with a scratch plate without a scratch plate? Don't know. I'm tempted to just build another one. I quite fancy building a tele bass, which is basically just exactly this, apart from I won't bother making it a 6-string, because I don't know, teles are cool. I can't really think of any justification. I could use it for the Black Sabbath band and it would be fine, but there'd be no. I would have to really try and squeeze in something to use the extra 2 strings to make it worthwhile. I did that in Jessie Ray. I was like, there was one song where the keyboard player Michael got a guitar out and played the bass to, I can't remember which song it was. The Dog and Me is a great song. But I played a sort of, I can't remember the chords. There was a couple of sort of jazzy chords in it that I was, so that justified the whole. I played the whole band the whole time on a 6-string bass because of 2 chords that I played. I can't remember what they were. So I'll like something like that. Yeah, so as I was saying there, thinking about if I was in an original band, I would probably write songs with this specifically in mind. It'd be amazing at a jam. I saw myself having it'd be amazing at an acoustic jam. You've got so much scope. It's still not a guitar, but mind you, if you put a cap on the 12th fret, you would get, this should just be a guitar. That should be a D in a guitar. Maybe. Still a little bit more. That sounds amazing. Yeah, so rock and roll. Sorry this was so long. 36 minutes. I don't think that's quite the record, but hey, I was enjoying myself. So if you're still here, you're the hardcore. Rock and roll.